welcome you to another episode of NAFDAC and Your Health, that TV program that preoccupies itself with ensuring that your well-being is guaranteed by making sure that you patronize only wholesome food products, drugs, and medical equipment. My name is Amanda Ugo. Today's episode of NAFDAC and Your Health begins with the significance of micro, small, and medium enterprises and how NAFDAC is encouraging them to the benefits of the Nigerian people and the country at large, and how NAFDAC is expanding to get its regulatory activities closer to the people through the establishment of new offices. And then we'll move on to talk about how the establishment of a second state office in Ota, Ogun State, has helped the enforcement team of NAFDAC to uncover an illegal herbal mixture production site in Ijoko, Ota. NAFDAC, in its efforts to safeguard the health of the Nigerian people by regulating food, drugs, and other related products under its purview, also encourages the production of these products locally through micro, small, and medium enterprises, otherwise known as MSMEs. This is to reduce the country's dependence on foreign-made goods, develop local production and entrepreneurship, which invariably provides employment opportunities. In doing this, the agency ensures that good manufacturing practices are adhered to. This support for MSMEs has indeed been of great value to the country.
Because of the sector, we have put in place stakeholders meeting, dissemination of information, assisted registration, because our registration process now is e-registration. And knowing that many people are not very familiar with working with computers and registering online, we have made it possible for our staff to assist any MSME applicant to register their product online. Aside from that, we also we join with the presidential initiative. We join at the MSME clinics, where we also emphasize and encourage them, explain concerns they may have. And in many of these MSME clinics, you also have the different sister agencies there, like the Bank of the Industry, you have some, you have CAC, just to be sure that their questions are answered rather by the respective agencies. To support MSMEs further, we actually created an Office of Trade and International Relations. So we rearranged the functionality of the staff that are there, and these staff are in the one-stop shop part of MSMEs. We have a one-stop shop office made up of NAFDAC staff that is there to also encourage and guide them, answer questions. So we now have an Office of Trade and International Relations. This office, we believe, will also add to the impact that the agency is having on MSMEs.
As NAFDAC encourages the establishment and development of MSMEs, the agency also tries to bring its regulatory activities closer to the people. This is necessary as the micro, small, and medium enterprises are situated among the people. This is not only making it easy to regulate the MSMEs, the people in communities can also get to understand the significance of NAFDAC and are able to access the agency when necessary. In this drive, the agency has in recent times built new offices in various locations across the country, with zonal directors and directors coordinating and reporting to the Director General. Mrs. Roseline Ajayi is the Zonal Director, Southwest Zone of NAFDAC.
It's quite large from Ota office here, which is the most recent office, commissioned office, to Ibadan, to Ekiti, Ondo, and Osun states. What I do is have a work plan to visit every state, minimum twice in a year. I visit and I have a program for the visit, and the program includes training of staff, giving them updates, reminding them about civil service, the mandate of NAFDAC, the expectation of government, expectation from government of NAFDAC, expectation from the management of NAFDAC, and expectations of stakeholders and consumers. So we interact one-on-one with staff and as a group. When I visit any state, I first discuss with the state coordinator, I discuss with the state management team, and then the entire staff. And we brainstorm, we talk about their challenges and areas that can be addressed. And then the ones that I personally cannot address, I escalate to the DG, and many times when I do, she's always supportive.
Still, NAFDAC is not relenting in getting even closer to the people and making the agency accessible to MSMEs and even consumers of regulated products.
In all our offices, we have a special desk for MSME. And the whole essence of decentralization of registration process is out of the concern for MSME. We are aware that the government is very passionate about nurturing and grooming the MSME sector. And so to help them to, many of the MSME operators are into food products. So, like you have rightly said, there is a dedicated laboratory in Oshodi for, MSME products, such that timelines are met. Once a product gets to the lab and it is of MSME, they handle it with dispatch. But beyond then, like I've said earlier, the decentralization is to speed up registration process for the MSME. And then we have the state's offices where they can initiate the registration. And then registration of MSME does not have to go to Lagos. Many times it ends at the zonal office. So if every state has a MSME desk, they process their application, conduct the inspection, draw sample to the lab, and when we have satisfactory inspection and laboratory report, it is being scheduled for approval that takes place at the zonal office every month.
Pharmacist Shaba Muhammad, the director, North Central Zone, also affirms that NAFDAC has recorded a huge success in terms of the number of MSMEs so far registered.
The aspect of MSME is one area that NAFDAC has done excellently well by decentralizing registration to the zone offices. And to this extent, in fact, we have been able to register 1,408 products since I took over, which is just barely a year today. And that's quite a good number. What it means is that a lot of people have been taken out of poverty. At least they have something to do, they are doing something legal, and all these products are actually what drive the economy. And to have 1,408 products registered just within North Central Zone, I think it's a very big thing. When you multiply that by about 7, you can see the number of the products that have been registered under MSME in the country. That just for a short period of time. Actually, when you talk about literacy, it's just maybe they are not able to communicate properly in English, but they know what they are doing. They know about the rules. They know about the conditions, the hygienic condition of where they should produce these things, and of course, we guide them on the registration process. But after that, of course, they know how to even develop their SOP. So we get those things translated to English for them, and that way, they are able to also meet our documentation needs. So they are doing excellently well on MSME.
It is to further encourage more MSMEs to develop and make the agency get even closer to the people that NAFDAC recently opened a new office in Ota, Ogun State, bringing the number of the agency's office in the state to 2.
This Ota office came to being after visiting the former Ogun State, which was in Abeokuta, and I discovered that they were having challenges going for surveillance, for routine, and then the bad roads and all that. So that became a motivation for me that we needed a second office in Ogun, because Ogun had a very, very high number of facilities, over 9,000 facilities, when a state like Ekiti Ondo had just 2,000. So I felt it's 9,000 is a lot for one office to handle. So we began to think, and I discussed with the DG, and she said that was a good point and encouraged me. And then we strategized and came up with the idea that Ogun needed, if not splitted into 3 senatorial districts, at least we should start with 2. So we now have 2 axes. There are 20 local government areas in Ogun State. So the Abeokuta office, which was also recently commissioned, is handling about 13 local governments of both Ogun East and Ogun Central. And then we now have Ota office that is covering Ogun West. And of course, we know that there's the high concentration of companies are in this axis, because we have Agbara here, we have Ota here, we have Ewekoro and Ifo. So they have high concentration of facilities. So even though it's just about 7 local government, they have a lot to do.
With the new NAFDAC office located at Plot 1, Plot 6, near Obasanjo Farms Junction within the Ogun State Housing Corporation, OTA, Ogun State, people of OTA and its environs can now have easier access to relate with NAFDAC.
All the sectors are covered under my jurisdiction. We have a lot of food industries, we have a lot of pharma industries, water, all regulated products, cosmetics, they are all covered under this axis. You bring your applications here, and it is attended to here. You start and end. But the other components that are not covered, the issue of laboratory, send to the laboratory, and he does their job. But we ensure that we inspect those facilities, and then at the end of the day, they get their product registered.
You have been watching NAFDAC and Your Health. The program is not over yet. We'll return after the short break.
Beware. Fake or damaged drugs have put many people in serious health harms and have killed many others. But you can protect yourself by seeking professional healthcare advice when you feel unwell. Buy drugs from only licensed pharmaceutical outlets and make sure you check the packaging for poor condition, spelling errors, and unclear labelings. Also, check NAFDAC registration number, batch number, the expiry date, manufacture date, and manufacturer's address before paying, and always collect a receipt. If you suspect a drug to be fake or damaged, report immediately to NAFDAC on 0800-162-3322 or send an email to sf.alert@nafdac.gov.ng. Protect yourself and your loved ones. This message is brought to you by NAFDAC with support from WHO.
Thank you for staying tuned to NAFDAC and Your Health. Let us proceed to our next feature on the program. There is no gainsaying that efficacious herbal products exist. This underscores the fact that Africa has curative substances that can be used to great advantage in tackling myriads of diseases and ailments. As much as NAFDAC acknowledges this, the regulatory agency does not undermine the fact that herbal medicines should be well researched and produced under good and hygienic conditions. This is why the agency is always ready to collaborate with practitioners of herbal medicines for the benefit of all. This the agency does through its Herbal Medicine Products Committee.
Registration of herbal medicinal products. I believe that the herbal practitioners are satisfied or contented with where we are. The issue that has come up on and off is our expectations. Our expectations are based on international standards, and actually we actually expect minimal documentation from them, and I mean relatively minimal, but we still need to know the history, what the herbal medicinal product has been used for before. So if anybody goes to our website and go through the images that flash, and you see the herbal medicine image, you go there, you click on the template in terms of what we expect. Anybody can see on our website our expectations. On that particular web page, we asterisk some points. Those are points or documents that we need to be provided. We did not asterisk some other points. to just give room for as many as possible to submit. If a herbal practitioner is from the university, a researcher, we expect such researcher to submit a lot compared to our herbalists. So I would say that they are contented in terms of registration. However, when we now have to go, they have to go online to do registration. Sometimes there are some hitches, and that happens with any electronically based registration portal. And I believe that we've been coming on their side to help whenever there are issues in terms of the electronic registration.
However, it is appalling to know that in spite of NAFDAC's efforts to encourage MSMEs and, of course, herbal medicine practitioners by simplifying the registration and regulatory activities on these products, some producers of these products continue to defy the directives and stipulations of NAFDAC. The establishment of the new NAFDAC office at Ota and the sensitization of the people of the area through the media spurred a customer complaint that took the Southwest Zonal Director of the agency, Mrs. Roseline Ajayi, and the Director in charge of the Ogun 2 office, Mr. Beno Philip, to a filthy, uncompleted building where a herbal mixture called Jedi Jedi herbal drink is illegally produced in under grossly unhygienic condition.
The owner actually visited the office because they closed the premises and invited the owner to come to the office, and he came to the office. Truly, he confessed with a written statement that he was registered in 2017 and he had evidence. And then it expired 2019. He did not do anything about it. He did not show up for renewal. So from 2019 to 2021 is a cycle, and 2021 to 2023 is another cycle. So he has kept evading renewal. More worrisome is not the renewal that he has evaded, is the premises that he relocated to an unauthorized, unapproved one that put the health of the consumers at risk. It put the health of the consumers at risk, and then one will begin to wonder what NAFDAC is doing. So for me, it's one of the gains of creation of water, because we became accessible to people. Before, if people see things like this, when you think of what it will cost you to go to Abeokuta to report, the stress, the bad road, the vehicle and all that, they will just look at it and say, well, maybe one day God will help us. But now that we are in Ota, anybody can, can just get to the office to report activities such as this. This is a herbal drink, alcoholic bitters. He has a range of these products, and then some, actually he had evidence that it was registered in the first instance, but some he could not provide evidence of the registration status. He has a lot of brands, but all herbal bitters, alcoholic bitters. So only God knows what he was using this room for, but from what we can see, this is possibly the vessels he was using to do mixing or compounding. Behind here, where we have this algae growth, this is where his packaging materials are. You can see the bottles here and then the caps. If you move close, you will see the caps. This is the packaging material. So this is possibly what he's using as filter. This is his filter. And what are in the white cakes, we are assuming that is the raw materials. We don't know what it is, but we assume that it is the raw material. No identity, no label, no labeling information, so we don't know what concoction is there. The roof is open. This is repurposed sockaway. For instance, in NAFDAC, we don't even know where the source of his water is. If we had been invited to look at this place, we would have advised him the location of the sockaway with the right distance from the source of water. But these premises now, we don't know what his source of water is, whether he's whether it's public means, if there is any, or tanker is supplying him, or he has a borehole. Nobody knows. So we cannot say anything about his source of water. But this is the proposed sockaway. Without NAFDAC coming to advise him, it's possible this sockaway is very close to the borehole, which is not, we have a requirement of a minimum distance between the sockaway and the borehole. Of course, he had a wind that we are coming, so he moved away from here before NAFDAC got to this place. The man had cleared a host of his materials from here before getting here, but he did not deny that it is his premises because he responded to the invitation given to him, the invitation letter to report to the office. He got to the office and admitted that it is his premises. He relocated to this place without approval, that he had registration. He produced the ones that he had. Some other products, he could not produce evidence that it was registered. The ones he produced had expired, but there are some that he could not even produce evidence that they were registered for him in the first instance.
This is how far we can go on this edition of the program. We'll be back again, same time, same station next week to give you updates on the activities of NAFDAC at safeguarding the health of the nation. Meanwhile, if you have any information on the activities that can jettison the efforts of NAFDAC at safeguarding the health of the nation, please contact us.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Remember, importing, producing, distributing, marketing, and selling of unwholesome food products, cosmetics, and medical equipment are criminal offenses that pose danger to our health. Join us in the fight against these crimes. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.